A home field advantage. Presented by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters. Member FDIC. Here in Liuna Laborers Local 663 Team of the Week, we welcome to the show Fairgrove head football coach Bill Voris. Coach Voris, hey, thanks for being part of the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Coach, exciting times in Fairgrove. Undefeated on the season. Let's just kind of talk a little bit about this past week with Father Tolton Catholic. What was that game like?
Man, it's a super competitive game. They were the best team that we had played top to bottom all year long. It was we played some guys in this area that are obviously really good athletes on Stratford and Stockton and Forsyth. But from top to bottom, I mean, they were a complete team. Quarterback was really, really good. It's just, I mean, that's what you expect in playoff football at this point. You're not going to play anybody who has any kind of glaring weaknesses. So it was two teams kind of feeling each other out for a while, and our kids were pretty resilient and held on.
At this point of the season, 12 games into it, obviously folks got bumps and bruises. Tell us a little bit about the overall health of the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, like you hit the nail on the head. Like at this point, nobody's going to feel great. You haven't had any kind of ramp up the schedule as far as how quickly you don't have you're playing teams that you don't necessarily know a lot about now. So you're trying to make sure you've got plenty of practice time to prepare your kids, but also trying to give them a chance to feel good. So we're dealing with the same rolled ankles, sore elbows, wrists, those types of things that everybody else is. So
as you look forward here, you're traveling down to St. Genevieve, Saturday game at 1 o'clock. It's supposed to be mostly sunny and high right around 50. And you look at the comparison, both teams scoring about the same amount of points per game, both teams giving up about the same amount of points per game. What do you know about Valley Catholic?
I mean, obviously they are extremely rich in tradition. I mean, they're kind of the Lamar Webb city of that area. I think they've got 16 state championships, several of those at Class 1, but I know that with the success factor stuff that Michigan did, they got bumped up to Class 3 last year and still had a pretty good. I think they made this game, the semifinals in Class 3 last year. So they know how to win. The program expects to win. It's and you said, like, I watched them play, and they do a lot of the same stuff we do. They're going to be in the spread, and they're going to try and find ways to get their best athletes in space with the football. They're really tough to tackle. On defense, they swarm to the football. Defensive linemen guys don't stay blocked. They're extremely fast. So it'll be a new speed for our kids, I'm sure, top to bottom. But our kids have answered the bell every time we put a challenge out there for them. I don't think this week will be any different.
As you look back over your schedule, is there a team that maybe you could kind of compare the Warriors to that's on your schedule? And it may be Father Tolton or it may be the Fairgrove Eagles.
Yeah, so when I watch them play, they do a lot of the little things, like I said, that I feel like we've been doing all year long. Like I said, on defense, they swarm to the football. Very rarely is it just one guy there to make a tackle. They create turnovers. If I had to try and compare them, I think that Forsyth does a lot of that same stuff. They preach to their kids about effort away from the football and those sorts of things. So there's just no weaknesses. There's nobody on that team at Valley Catholic that's slow. Nobody on that team that's not aggressive. Like there's nobody that you can point to and go, okay, well, we can just take advantage of this kid because they're all very good football players.
Again, here visiting with Fairgrove Eagles head football coach Bill Voris here on High School Game Day. Coach, tell us what your Thursday, Friday, Saturday plans are. When do you leave? When are you getting on the field to be able to practice? And then what do you take out for St. Genevieve?
Yeah, so Monday through Wednesday we've been coming in at 2:40 and getting a lift in. I can't, because we don't have school this week at all, so can't really expect these kids to be their best and not have lifted weights for an entire week. So we bring them in at 2:40 and lift from 2:40 to 3:20, and then we've been practicing from about 3:30 to 5:15 on Monday through Wednesday. Thursday we're gonna get up and come in and practice at 9:30. We'll go 9:30 to 10:45, 11. And then they'll be done so they can travel and go do Thanksgiving stuff with their families. And then Friday, we're going to leave at about 2 o'clock and head up to Rolla. And we've got some friends on the coaching staff at Missouri S&T. We're going to have our typical Friday, Thursday walkthrough practice on S&T's field. And then we're going to eat somewhere in Rolla and finish the trip. We're actually staying in Festus, Missouri. It's about 30 minutes away from Valley Catholic. We're going to stay the night there as a team, and then get up Saturday morning, check out of the hotel, and get over to Valley Catholic. Hopefully around kickoff is at 1, so we're planning on getting there between 10:30 or 11, so we can try and stay on our 2 hour schedule before the game, and then kickoff, like I said, is at 1 o'clock.
Come 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and I get read on Scoreboard Guy or wherever that Fairgrove came out on top in this game. Are you going to be able to point to one or two stats, maybe time of possession or turnovers? Well, where are you going to have to win this game at?
I mean, that's what we said on offense for us. It's going to be about limiting penalties and not turning the football over. We have had a problem with penalties. Like the last game, his father told me it was 16-2 was the penalty differential, and that kind of that will kill a drive, and especially against a really good football team. So I would say that if you're reading that we won the game, we didn't have any penalties, we didn't turn it over, and then on defense we need to create some turnovers, give our offense a short field, and keep their offense off the field. Like I said, they're extremely explosive. Their quarterback is the fastest kid that we will play all year long, and like I said, we're going to have to contain him. They're going to get theirs. We just got to make sure that we get the ball last, probably.
Once again, this is beginning of the holiday season, and anytime that you're eating turkey dinners and still playing football, it's got to feel good to be a Fairgrove Eagle.
It's been really great. I get just so happy for our school. They, if you think back to when we were talking about this the other night, that if you think back to winter, so girls basketball last year, so 2023 girls basketball, Fairgrove has been in the Final Four in every sport since then. We're in the Final Four in girls basketball, and then in softball, and then in volleyball, and now in football. So it really is a really special place.
It'll be the first meeting ever, I believe, between Fairgrove and St. Genevieve Valley Catholic.
Yes, sir.
Coach, again, this is the holiday season. Just kind of, maybe give the listeners and viewers, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? What's something that you maybe cut in line to get on your plate?
Let's see. My wife makes she calls it cracked corn. It's a like a cream cheese, sugar corn, and so I would get more than one helping of that throughout the day.
And last but obviously not least, what are some things that the Voris families are going to be thankful for this Thanksgiving?
I'm super thankful for the senior class that we have. They decided last year when we got beat by Lamar in the district championship game that this year was going to be different, and it's really, I guess, rare probably to see a group of teenage men, decide that they're going to be different and then actually carry through. So super happy and thankful for these guys.
You bet. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I wish you the best of safe travels and a healthy game, and hopefully you come out on top.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Bill Voris, Fairgrove Eagles head football coach, back after this. Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, the Bank of Billings, and our longtime Athlete of the Week sponsor, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. We go to Lamar High School. We welcome in Lamar Tigers head football coach, Jared Beshore. Coach, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Coach, tell us first off, let's go back to your quarterfinal game a little bit and kind of talk a little bit about that matchup. And the Tigers obviously had a tremendous game against Lafayette County, 41-7 was that final. Tell us about that game from your point of view.
Yeah, no, it was a hard fought matchup, physical game. Lafayette County's been a staple of Class 2 state contention for a long time. So we've gotten to match up with them before, very familiar with their staff and program, and they were familiar with us. So, it was a hard fought game. Our kids came out and played well, had a really big second half, and we were able to come out on top. So, for us, we're just focused on getting 7 more days of football, and that win, whether it was by 1 point or 50, it's 7 more days of football for our kids. So, very pleased with their effort, and looking forward to getting another chance to get 7 more days.
You bet. This will be back-to-back weekends where you played undefeated teams with Adrian, Lafayette County, and now Bowling Green. Talk a little bit about how the kind of that Big 8 conference has kind of helped prepare you for this postseason run.
I mean, it prepares you every single year playing top, state level competition in your conference week in, week out. If you don't show up, you're going to get beat. It's about as physical of a football conference I think that there is in the state of Missouri. So it prepares you extremely well for state playoffs and other really powerhouse teams that you're going to face down the road. So we've got heck 4 quarterfinal teams, and 2 of them are Class 4. And Seneca's still playing football too. So those are all teams we've gotten to face this year. So when you jump back down to Class 2, it gets you prepared, ready to go. And some of these teams that we face that are still really good Class 2 teams, there's bits and pieces of their teams that we've seen teams like that before. We've seen teams that have played at their speed, play at their physicality, and so that's a huge advantage for us playing in our conference and preparing us for that.
Coach, I know we're going into week 14 here. Talk a little bit about obviously with 14 weeks in the books, you're going to have bumps and bruises, twisted ankles maybe, but outside of those type of things, are you relatively healthy going into this matchup?
Relatively, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's probably the most healthiest we've been all year. We went through a point of the season where we were on our 3rd string quarterback and even onto our 4th and 5th, string guys that stepping in trying to help us win ball games. And so we've had times this year where we've had to mix our personnel up quite a bit. We lost 2 of our top skill kids for a month or more of the season. And so guys have had to move around. Guys have had to play different positions. Guys have had to just find a way to make plays. And, we've done that all year long on the offensive and defensive end. So, we've got all of our kids back. And, though we are, like everyone else, everyone's got bumps and bruises, sprains and strains and all that stuff. But, we at least have all of our guys able to play in the football game, which is the most important thing.
Now, Bowling Green, the Bobcats come in at 13-0, but they're averaging 60 points a game. What do you know about Bowling Green and what they do?
Well, they are very old school. Really well. They're kind of an up-tempo, quick huddle team. Makes it tough to defend offensively, and they do some things that a lot of teams don't like to do anymore, which is run split back veer, I formation, run power, joke, and run schemes that are very old school. They're not in the shotgun. They're not doing any spread stuff or throwing the ball extremely, all over the field. It's very old school offense, and so teams struggle to defend it because they're really good at it, and they have really big, strong, physical kids that have a few skill kids that can run, but makes them really hard to defend. So they're really good at what they do. And defensively, it's the same way. They play old school. They do things well. They're well coached and disciplined kids, and that makes for a really tough matchup.
At this point of the season, what do you feel like the Tigers are doing really well going into this semifinal matchup?
It's tough to tell each team, what we're doing really well until you kind of reflect on it after the year and say, well, you'll go back and watch the entirety of the season. You say, okay, well, we did this really well. And I think right now it's tough for me to say, but I do know one thing about this team. This team is resilient as all get out. We faced a lot of adversity this year with injuries, with external stuff, family stuff, things that, we haven't had to deal with before all in one season. We've had to deal with separate issues, before when we talk about team adversity. But this team has overcame all of that and found a way to win ball games and still have an opportunity to reach all their goals. And so, to me, that makes them really resilient. And I do know that when it's tough and it's hard to finish a drive or finish a ball game. We're in the 4th quarter and it's go time. Our guys are going to be ready to go because they're tough and they've overcame adversity all year long. So that's one thing I think this team does really well is had to go through.
Well, Coach, it's always nice to be eating Thanksgiving dinner and still getting to look at game film and break down game film at this time of the year. If you're still playing, you're very fortunate. What does your week look like? I mean, practice wise, between now and 1 p.m. on Saturday at Lamar High School.
Well, historically we've obviously get an extra day with Saturday, but we kind of take Monday and use it as that extra day, do some watcher stuff, and try to get rested up from last Sunday's game. During Thanksgiving week, you have to work around all the holidays and all the family stuff that's going on. So, we do practice on Thanksgiving, but we practice early Thanksgiving morning to get the kids out, get the coaches out, have everyone do, their Thanksgiving routines. So, that's how we work around that, and then we don't come back until Friday afternoon. And it kind of gives everyone time to enjoy the holiday, have some time with family without having to sacrifice a ton football wise. So we've done it the past 3 years. Our kids adjust really well, so we're very thankful that we have a community and families that understand that, understand we're still playing for an opportunity to go to a state title game. So it is important, but we do want to try to help out our families and our kids as much as possible.
Kickoff at 1 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
And, last weekend couldn't have had a better weekend for football, and this weekend looks to be about the same with partly sunny skies and a high near 50.
Yeah, it would be absolutely beautiful if it does that again for us. It was last Saturday. It was nice.
Very good. Well, Coach, it's Thanksgiving week here coming up. What does Coach Beshore kind of cut in line for? Make sure you get enough on your plate.
Oh, I know some people are, turkey seems to be, either you're all in for it or it's a love-hate thing or you don't like it. I'm a big turkey guy when it's done right. When you inject that turkey with a bunch of butter and with all the fixing, spices, and cooked it just right, it's tough to beat a well-done turkey. But, I like it all. I load up some mashed potatoes, put some gravy on it. I like stuffing. I like the green bean casserole. I cut in line for all of it. So it's good stuff. Well done. If you do a turkey right, it's enough for me to stop going back for more.
Well, the green bean casserole, I think we had Webb City, Coach McFarland and Coach Cornelison both with Webb City and Republic. That was their go-to, and that's one of my favorites too. But
yeah, that's a good one too. It's a real good one.
And Coach, what this time as you kind of have an opportunity here to reflect, what are some things that the Beshore family is thankful for going into this holiday?
We're thankful for a lot. We're extremely blessed. Blessed to have, our family, our newborn son that's, he's about to go be 4 months here in a couple of weeks, and he's happy and healthy. And, just our friends and family, the community that we've settled down to here in Lamar. We both got jobs to pay the bills, both got a roof over our head, love in our hearts, and the good Lord has blessed us extremely well, and we're making sure that we thank Him every day for that. So I'm just thankful for just about everything under the sun. The good things and the bad things, and I do know that we're very blessed to be a part of this football program, and the kids are part of it, and the coaches are part of it, and everyone that has their hand in what Lamar football is all about, because it's special, and I think the people part of it is who makes it special. Not me or any particular person. It's just the collective that makes it pretty special.
Well, that community down there since 2010, you guys are 168-19 with eight state titles. So a lot of things going on right for the Lamar Tigers.
Absolutely. Yep. We're extremely blessed and fortunate.
Well, Coach, as always, I appreciate you being generous with your time. Good luck on Saturday, and go get a win, and we'll get you back on next week.
All right. Thanks, guy. Appreciate it.
You bet. Jared Beshore, Lamar Tigers head football coach, back after this. Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Guys who come alongside here, the scoreboard guy, and as always, brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters. Member FDIC. Well, I got to I got to be in the house at Yeah, Bill Reedus Field on Saturday for a tremendous game between Portageville and Marionville. And we welcome to the line now Marionville head football coach Peyton Grubbs. Coach Grubbs, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, hey, thank you for having me.
Coach, what an exciting atmosphere. I've watched a few games at Marionville, but none that I know of have had this many people there. Tell us a little bit about what the crowd was, and was that something you expected?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was telling our coaching staff and kids after the game. I've been a part of Marionville sports now for my whole life, and I had never seen a crowd quite like that. I don't believe at Marionville at least. So I thought that our crowd would show up, knowing what was at stake and the type of team that was coming in and the type of team that we have. Really thought it was going to be just a classic game, two very good teams. And, Portageville traveled extremely well. Kudos to them and their program and fans. I didn't know what to expect with a 5-hour trip, but goodness, they turned up. And, the atmosphere was just electric. It'll be something that hopefully the kids can remember for the rest of their lives in regards to just good memories. And, I told them before the game, whenever we go out, to just kind of soak it in, take a minute to soak it in, enjoy the moment, and let's make some good memories today.
Yeah, and the Cows got off to a good start. To take the opening kickoff down and you score, and maybe the play of the game is that kickoff following your score, kind of a little pooch kick up in the air, and you kind of landed right between two people that were both calling for a fair catch, and they fumble it, and you get the ball back, and you go in with, I think you score with 1:45 left on the clock in the first to go up 14-0. How important was that?
Yeah, the game couldn't have started out any better than what we wanted it to. We actually went 3 and out on our first drive, but on their first drive, on their third play, we intercepted them to get us in plus territory on our side of the field, which then you said we were able to score. And then I do believe that the pooch kick also was probably a key moment in the game. There's a lot of plays throughout the course of a football game, but just from a momentum standpoint, and to be able to get and put ourselves in position to get a 2-score lead was huge against them. Something that neither team wanted to be in, I would say, in regards to that type of game, being down 2 scores. So for us to be able to then go and capitalize again, to go up 2 scores off of that pooch kick, just great execution by our kicker and our kickoff team. Very big play in the game. Then great job offensively to be able to execute and put in a score to take that 2-score lead. So I agree. I think that play was a huge play throughout the course of the game that ended up making a big difference.
Yeah, and I was so impressed with your defense throughout the game. You've got Jamarian Smith coming in, who had a couple games this year where he rushed for over 400 yards. You guys held him to, I believe, under 100, maybe around 70 yards. But that backside pressure, as you continue to get guys coming from the backside and tracking him down from behind, talk about the preparation and what led to that.
Yeah, defensively, our kids are very well coached. Great game planning each week by Coach Price and Coach Evans. Those two do a phenomenal job. But we just obviously we're like everybody else in the state. We knew what we were going up against and what we were having to stop in regards to who Portageville has played up to this point. So we were making it a key factor to try to take away him when we could. We didn't think we could absolutely shut him down. I think he finished the game with 70 yards and a touchdown. But we wanted to make him earn everything. And I felt like our kids did a phenomenal job of that. It was the best execution of our defense all year, just in regard to everybody doing their job. Anytime they did their zone read, wedge read, any sort of read concepts that they showed in the run game, we were going to make sure that he was not the one getting the ball. And if he did get the ball, it was going to be a TFL because of how many guys we had going to him. Their quarterback's another really good player, who ended up having a really solid game on the day. But yeah, we just wanted to make sure that that number 24 didn't beat us at the end of the day, and that we were going to try to make someone else beat us if that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, defensively, maybe the two biggest plays of the game. You mentioned the interception. I'm going back to a 4th and goal, and this is not the one at the end of the game. This is one on the other end of the field, 4th and goal, and you get an 18-yard loss on a sack as you bring some pressure and able to get your hands on the quarterback and sack him. And then obviously the 4th and 3 from the 5 with 6 seconds left. And you get the deflection, a great defensive play there by your corner as he kind of reached in and pulled the arm down. And I've got a great video of that. I was standing right there at the goalpost. It looked like I'm standing on the field, but I wasn't, I promise. But got some great video of that. Talk about your defense, from that standpoint on those 2 plays.
Yeah, just bend, don't break. Just when our kids are locked in, I really feel like our defense is really top notch, very good. Just very tough kids. And they play hard for one another. But on those 2 plays, one thing that really helped us on those, other than our kids making plays, was 2 false start penalties for Portageville that really hurt them. The third quarter, the start of the third quarter stop was huge. Not just because we got a stop, but we made them go 3 and 4 yards down the field throughout the course of that start of the drive in the third quarter. And to get a stop down there where we got to stop at. And then I would even say that the ensuing offensive drive was huge for us. We went 90 yards, and we ended up only getting 3 points out of it, but there was only 2 total possessions in the third quarter, and that's the type of game that we wanted. We wanted to limit possessions for them and to play ball control. And then, just that huge stop defensively there. Again, just bend, don't break, just toughness, just the classic playoff, needing to stop type of play that our kids will be able to remember for the rest of their lives, and our community will be able to remember. Just huge play. Bella did a great job of getting a hand in there, like you said. I think a lot of people thought he caught it, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I was one of them. I thought he had it, and then I see the ball pop out. Just a really big play by Bella and our defense there.
Now you've got a team that you, Marionville is not unfamiliar with, and you personally are not unfamiliar with the St. Vincent Indians coming in. They're 9-3, but you can throw the records out the window at this time. What do you know about the Indians?
Yeah, like you said, records don't mean anything. Our kids know that. I told them this. My senior year in Marionville was the 2004 football season. I think that St. Vincent was 7-5 in the state semifinals and came in here and beat us 20-14, and we were 11-1. So records absolutely mean nothing at this point. But we got a really good St. Vincent team coming to town Saturday. They're going to run a spread style offense, use a lot of motion. And we're going to have to really do our jobs and make sure we're not losing people with the motions, and that we still our eyes are on our aiming points, and that we got to continue to get to the ball defensively and make tackles. They got a good quarterback, good running back, and multiple good receivers. So they do like to throw it around quite a bit, even though they're capable of running the football. So going to be very important defensively and offensively. We don't do anything special. We're going to try to play a grinded out type of game. So it's going to be very important that we just continue to do little things up front, work our double teams, and backs take care of the football. And when we do throw the football, that we're throwing high percentage throws and just executing at a high level. But we got a good athletic, fast St. Vincent team that has some size up front. So, again, it's just going to be one of those good high school football games again, I feel like.
Kickoff 1 p.m. at Bill Rita's Field here in Marionville. It's temperature supposed to be in the upper 40s, partly sunny, so a great day for football. What are the comments? What are your plans between now and then through the holidays?
Yeah, we kind of took Monday off, other than film and some weight stuff. But we'll practice for a little bit each day. Really try to focus on getting our kids healthy and feeling as good as they can going into Saturday as we continue to prepare. And then as far as myself and my family will be having a big Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday, watching a little football, and really just enjoying time with family and friends.
All right, Coach. But here's the question of the day. What's your go-to dish that you're going to cut in line? You got to make sure you get enough of it on your plate there at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, there's a few things that I really enjoy at Thanksgiving. One being, I think my aunt calls it sweet corn casserole. It's kind of a cornbread style casserole, and boy, it's pretty tasty. And then a sweet potato casserole that it's set out during the main course, but it tastes more like a dessert. So for Thanksgiving, those are two that I'm always looking forward to.
Outstanding. And Coach, real quickly here as we wrap this up, but what are some things that the Grubbs family have to be thankful for here as we head into this holiday?
Yeah, a lot to be thankful for. Just some things that come to my head right away is, as far as our family goes, just our health. Very thankful for our health and, my two boys' health, and just getting to be around them every day, and my wife. We're very thankful for that. And probably the most important thing is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Very thankful for him and his love and grace and the peace that comes with Jesus. And then I would say thirdly, is just living in America. Just very thankful to wake up every morning in the United States, in Missouri, and in our town of Marionville, where we have the freedoms and and just everything that everybody's done to ensure those freedoms. Just very thankful to be able to call myself an American.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, as always, we appreciate you being generous with your time. Hey, best of luck as you go here on Saturday, and it'll be at Bill Reedus Field at 1 p.m. Stay healthy, and hey, go out and get a win, and we'll get you on next week as well.
Yes, sir. Definitely hope so. Thank you very much, and go Comets.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Have a great day. God bless.
You too. Thank you.
You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network here at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Guy Newcomb alongside here, the scoreboard guy, here on high school game day. A little different this week with the semifinals going on in high school football from across the state. And as always, brought to you by Liuna Laborers Local 663. Liuna Laborers Local 663, building Missouri, and reminding us, hey, drive safely in those work zones. Those folks want to go home to their families as well. We go to Liberty North High School, home of the Eagles, and Coach Andy Lehrman. Coach Lehrman, thanks so much for your time today.
Absolutely, Guy. Great to visit with you on this Thanksgiving week.
It is outstanding. Anytime you got turkey in the oven and you're still watching game film, it's a good time to be a high school football coach when you're playing this late.
Yes, sir. We were just talking to our kids about that yesterday. Just how thankful we are that we have the opportunity and get to practice this week. And so, it's definitely a blessing, the opportunity to keep hanging out with our guys and get a chance to maybe play for a state title game.
Winners of 11 in a row, and we'll go back talk about that quarterfinal game first last week with Oak Park, 38-7 victory there. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, so Oak Park's obviously had a tremendous season this year. They were undefeated coming in, and kind of Cinderella story around Kansas City a little bit. Kind of been working to get that program back. Coach Clemens has done a great job over there. And, they presented some unorthodox type things that they do offensively, especially with some option offense. And so, we had to have a really good prep week last week. You're getting ready for those guys, as we don't see that kind of offense much. And we really did a great job of coming out and executing on both sides of the ball and in the kicking game. I felt like it was one of our better games in all three facets of the game. And so, just real proud of our kids, how they came out and executed. We shut down the option pretty well on Friday night, and offensively we were able to run the football really well and take our shots when we needed to. And just really proud of our kids. They just continue to keep at doing what we asked them to do, and it's presenting good results on the scoreboard, so to speak.
Coach, tell us a little bit about what you feel like your team and maybe even individuals are doing really well right now at this point of the season.
Yeah, I'll start with our defense. We take a lot of pride in playing good defense, and each and every year we've got some new kids that kind of step in and do that. And I think our maturity level on all facets of the ball, but really defensively this year we've really grown, and I think that's really kind of why we're playing so well. The kids are maturing, they're growing, and they're understanding how our defense works and the fits we want to do, and the coverages we want to check to, and all those kind of things. And so I think just an understanding defensively is probably our biggest piece in that aspect. Offensively, I think that we're doing some really good things in both the running and the passing game. Our quarterback's a junior, has had a tremendous year in Tillman Martin. He's doing a good job of understanding. Again, we've got some checks offensively that we like to get him, and he does a good job with understanding what we're asking him to do. Our offensive line is really gelling and doing a great job. Coach Llewellyn, our offensive line coach, and Coach Schneider do a great job with those guys, and they're really starting to peak at the right time, we feel like. And, we just got some skilled kids offensively that have been tough for everybody to kind of handle all year long. Keelan Smith at wide receiver, Jay Sean Ross, Ja'Cory Love. We've got Micah Joe, Barnett in the backfield, and then we got a trio of tight ends that do a tremendous job. And so we just thought we got some really good offensive weapons guy that creates some problems for defenses. And so far, so good. We've done a good job of making sure that we get the ball where it needs to go on Friday night. And then the kicking game, we've just been consistent. We've got an incredible special teams coordinator, and he does a great job with our guys. And we've got kids that buy into our special teams each and every year, whether it's a top playmaker and a starter, or it's a great high school football player that's playing his senior year, that's stepping into a role on a kickoff coverage team or whatever it might be. And so, our specialist positions have done a great job with our punters and kickers. And it's just kind of all come together. We feel like we're playing well right now, Guy, in all three facets, and we're excited for Friday.
Again, visiting with Liberty North head football coach Andy Learman. And Coach, I know we're 13 weeks into the season. Everybody's got bumps and bruises and some sore spots. But outside of those, are you relatively healthy going into the semifinal game?
Yeah, we are relatively healthy. We've kind of been limping along for about 5 weeks or so, where we had some guys that were banged up and couldn't play in different games, and I don't think we had a full group of guys as far as a starting group for about 5 week stretch there on the back end of the season. And so credit to our training staff and the kids who've done everything we've asked them to do to get healthy, and we feel like we're rolling in here about as healthy as we've been in a while.
Now, going into this semifinal, there are a couple of games around the state that are in a similar situation where it's the second time you're going to face someone. Obviously, you get the win at Rockhurst earlier this season, set 35-7. I know Webb City Republic is a rematch as well. What are the dangers of playing a good team that second time? It's awful tough to beat a good team twice in the same season.
Yeah, obviously, your main concern is your high school kids. As a coach, you understand how hard that is and the challenges that get presented there. But just, we've had several instances this year here, especially in the playoffs, where we've had to play a team for the second time. So our kids are pretty well versed in that logic and that understanding that you're going to have to do a good job. And honestly, playing Rockhurst, it seems like we played in week 3. It seems like a whole nother season ago, Guy. We really feel like it was a while ago, and they've improved, obviously, and gotten better, and we feel like we have too. And so, it's going to be a great game Friday night. Our kids fully understand, along with their coaching staff, that we don't expect the same Rockhurst team we saw in week 3, and we're not going to get that. And we fully don't expect a 35-7 win. We know it's going to be a ball game, and it should be. It's a semifinal game in the state Class 6 championships, and we know Coach Donahoe's going to have those guys ready to roll. They want to come get a win, and whether we beat them the first time or not really doesn't matter Friday night. None of that stuff besides Friday night's game matters. And so we're focused on that, and we understand what that's going to take, and we'll be ready to roll.
And Coach, one of the few games that will be being played on Friday night. Low temperatures are going to be maybe in the mid 20s. Who makes that decision to play that game on Friday night rather than Saturday?
Coach Donahoe and I both kind of visited a little bit, and we just agreed that we like the Friday night routine of playing. And so, our state championship game next week, if whoever wins that's going to be playing at 7 o'clock at night on Saturday night. So just trying to kind of keep that routine for our kids. We felt like it was just what was best for our programs. And the opportunity to get to play on Friday night here in Kansas City, kind of the only show in town, should be a fun atmosphere down there in Rockhurst, no matter what the temp is.
And what between now and then, what's your practice schedule like? I know everyone's out of school. It's a holiday season. It's tough, but it's always fun to be playing. At this time, because you're gonna have a lot of friends and family and folks that they're off. They're gonna make their way in. But what's the practice schedule like between now and then?
Yeah, so we're going to practice this afternoon around 2 o'clock and try to keep our guys in a regular routine as much as we can. We'll have meetings and things just like school got out, and we're going to rock and roll in the afternoon. Tomorrow morning, obviously, we'll go in the morning so that our kids have an opportunity to spend some time with their families tomorrow. And then we'll come back in on Friday morning and do some meetings and walkthroughs and stuff like that to kind of get ourselves up and out of bed and focused on the task at hand on Friday. So we're trying to keep things as normal as possible, if that's even possible on a week like Thanksgiving week where everything's going on. But again, just talking to our kids a lot about being mature and understanding that. Yes, your family's important, and yes, Thanksgiving is definitely important, and all those things that go with it. But we also have a pretty big game we've been working for about a year now, trying to get that opportunity to get this win. And so just trying to stay focused without all the distractions around us.
And Coach, with it being Thanksgiving, what does Coach Learman? What do you cut in line for to make sure you get enough of? What's your go-to dish on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, my mom makes a pretty good little sweet potato dish that we don't get very often. So I'll be excited when she brings that over to the house on Thursday, and that'll definitely be something I'll be trying to get a spoonful or two of. And then she also usually makes some pretty good stuffing. And my wife makes fun of me for liking stuffing and thinking that's a great treat on Thanksgiving Day. But I don't know about your family, Guy, but the only two times I ever see stuffing that goes with turkey is on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so I like those two dishes. If I can get my hands on those, I definitely will.
Absolutely, I'm a stuffing guy too, and anytime turkey and ham and all that stuff going together, and the green oh good heaven, green bean casserole. I'll get it out.
Oh yeah.
But and Coach, lastly here, what does the Learman family have to be thankful for at this time of year?
Oh man, a ton. Just thankful for the opportunity to be here in this community with these kids and these coaches. And I got three healthy kids, a freshman, a fifth grader, and a second grader. A wife that understands what it takes to be a football coach wife and supports me. And then just a great staff here at our school. Our coaches bust their rear end to make sure our kids get every opportunity, not only to win, but just be successful in life, whether it's in the classroom or something they might need. We've got an incredible thing here at Liberty North High School and in our community, and we are just thankful for just the opportunity to be here and to serve our community and to serve our students and our student athletes, and couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, hey, best of luck. Congratulations on making it this far. Best of luck as you travel over to Rockhurst, and safe travels, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you, sir. You too.
All right. Hey, you're watching and listening to the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. Be safe, be smart, and be here for Christmas. Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, the Bank of Billings, Chevy dealers of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, and Lyona, Laborers Local 663. And again, continuing with our football semifinal matchups, we go to Bowling Green High School, home of the Bobcats, and head coach Mark Sinclair. Coach Sinclair, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Coach, before we talk about the upcoming semifinal game, let's go back to last Saturday's game with East Buchanan. East Buchanan comes in undefeated. Tell us a little bit about that contest. You win 50-22.
We got off to a great start against them. Took the opening kickoff, took 5-6 plays and scored, and then their opening series. We got a pick six, so we were up 16-0 early. Got up 24-0 first quarter. Just a great start for our team. East Buchanan never went away, kept playing hard, but we did a great job of controlling their offense, and offensively we kept putting points on the board.
Yeah, and you've done that all season long, averaging right at 60 points per contest. Tell us a little bit about that offense and what makes it so potent, and some of the young men that are probably running that offense.
Well, you got to start with the offensive line. Our O-line's got a returning All-Stater, Harrison Hunt, and we've got some other seniors up front that have waited their turn and stepped in this year after we graduated quite a few from last year's team that went 12-1. So we feel pretty good about where our offensive line is, but we also have a running back by the name of Blaine Bryant that's coming up on 3,000 yards rushing. We've got another running back that was an all-conference running back this year, and we really like our quarterback, Jace Eskew. He's a tall kid, athletic kid, probably the most athletic kid around. All-state high jumper, starts on the basketball team. There's just not much he can't do. So, we have our weapons, but it all starts with that offensive line.
And Coach, obviously with it, you being 13 games into the season, there's folks going to be having bumps and bruises and maybe twisted ankles and things like that. But outside of that, are you relatively healthy going into this semifinal game?
We're pretty healthy. Yeah, we've had our issues, and particularly early in the year, but yeah, we're doing well.
Now you've got Lamar. You will play Lamar at Lamar. That game will be Saturday at 1 p.m. The weather looks good for this time of year. Partly sunny, maybe 45 degrees. What do you know about the Lamar Tigers?
Well, I know, number one, they've got a lot of history. You can go back a long time, and they've got a great team every year. So we know, we're running into a team that's confident, that plays at a high level. They do a great job with their kids, and we know that we're playing down there. So those are all things that we're well aware of. But the main thing for us is we've just got to play our football. Every week this year we've talked about cleaning up the things we need to take care of, and correcting some of the things we've done wrong. But we've just got to play our game. Obviously prepare for them, but mostly we've just got to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do.
And this may not be typically a fair question, but on your schedule, is there anyone that you've played that you can maybe compare Lamar to a little bit with what they do offensively and defensively?
Well, I don't know offensively because they're kind of unique on what they do, but they've just got a lot of weapons. They do a lot of things. A lot of movement. Their O-line gets off the football. So I don't know that we do. We played South Shelby, who was another undefeated team in district title. And, that's a team that was blowing out everybody. And they kind of remind me of them, not necessarily in the scheme, but how they play the game. So, then we faced earlier in the year, Lutheran St. Charles, who I believe Lamar played in the state championship like 3 years ago. They had some tremendous athletes, but they, again, it was a little different offensive set, but those are the teams that would remind me of them the most.
And again, here on High School Game Day, we're visiting with Bowling Green Bobcats head football coach Mark St. Clair as they prepare to take on Lamar on Saturday at 1 p.m. at Lamar in the Class II state semifinal game. Coach, what does the rest of the week look like for you? How, when are you practicing? I know there's, Thanksgiving's in there, then you're probably not in school on Friday as well. But what are you doing between now and Saturday at 1 o'clock?
Well, it's different every day. Obviously on Thanksgiving, we have to go in the morning just to make sure everybody can get with their families for Thanksgiving. But, we have school today, so we'll be after school. So we're just trying to get all the schedule worked out to where we can get in what we need to get in, but give them as much family time as they can get during this break.
And Coach, as you look at this contest that's coming up, if Bowling Green, if the Bobcats are able to come out on top at, say at 4 o'clock, the game is over, Bobcats win, are there going to be one or two stats that you're going to be able to point at and say, hey, this is why we won this game, whether it's, penalties or turnovers or time possession? What are some things you're paying particular attention to this week?
I think anytime you get in the game with two good football teams, you've got to look at turnovers. Obviously, we can't do anything about some of the penalties. Penalties come and go, but we've got to respond, no matter what happens, good or bad. But turnovers usually dictate, this level of a game. But, who's going to control the line of scrimmage? Usually the team that controls the line of scrimmage obviously wins the game.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, here as we head into here to Thanksgiving, do you have maybe a favorite dish that you're going to cut in line to make sure you get enough of it on your plate?
Well, my favorite dish is, homemade noodles and mashed potatoes. But unfortunately, I don't have any noodles on the menu for Thanksgiving. Kind of being busy, I'm paying somebody else to make the meal for us, and that wasn't included. But that was my favorite. But I like all foods. I'm a equal opportunity when it comes to any dinner, but particularly Thanksgiving dinner.
Outstanding, Coach. And one last question here going into this holiday season. What does the St. Clair family have to be thankful for?
Well, there's a long list, but, without getting into a lot, I had a major heart attack 30 days ago. Just over 30 days ago, was life flighted to St. Louis. Had a lot of CPR done on me and was shocked 2 or 3 times, but a lot of people are responsible for me being alive at this time. So, number one, me and my family are thankful to all those people and, the medical personnel that got me back to healthy. So we're recovering from that. But, other than that, we're just thankful for, having family, having time with family. And, I've got a grandson and another one on the way. So thankful for that. And after being retired for a little bit of time, coming back to coaching, I'm thankful for the kids, that I'm coaching right now and the coaches I'm around, and just thankful to be able to take part, in kids' lives and experience what's going on.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here during a week of not only celebration, but also the holiday week. And, Coach, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
You bet. High School Game Day with Bowling Green Bobcats head football coach Mark St. Clair, and we'll be back after this. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters. Member FDIC. Also presented by Luna, Labor's Local 663. And we go to Webb City, Missouri, home of the Cardinals, and head football coach Ryan McFarland. Coach McFarland, thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, no problem. Glad for you, or appreciate you having me on today.
Coach, before we talk about the upcoming semifinal matchup, kind of take us back to last Friday night with Grain Valley, a 49-35 victory. Tell us about that contest.
Yeah, we played a Grain Valley school out of Kansas City that Webb City had never played before, so we weren't real familiar with them. But just scouting them and watching them on film, we knew they were going to be, a really athletic, physical football team. They had a running back who, going into the game, had 2,400 yards rushing on the season, and a quarterback that had thrown for around 1,800 yards. He had 19 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. So we knew offensively we were going to have our hands full. And, defensively, watching them, they had, started a senior at every position on defense, and they were a real physical group and really remind us of a COC school. And they, our comparisons to them, we're comparing them, to a Nixa and a Republic. And we felt like if they were in our conference this year, they would have been one of the top, 3 or 4 teams in the conference and had a chance to compete in the COC. So we knew we'd have our hands full, and we did. And they played extremely well. And I told our kids before the game that, whichever group could fight adversity the best and, continue to fight adversity would have a great chance to win. And I felt like our kids did that. And we made, just enough plays to be successful and to win the game. But, hats off to Grain Valley and their coaching staff, because they have a phenomenal group of kids, and their coaches do a great job, and you can tell they're well coached.
Coach, you mentioned the COC and, looking across and talking to coaches throughout the COC. And we host the quarterback club every Monday there in Springfield, Missouri. We've got COC schools coming in with Nixon, Ozark, and Willard being a part of that as well, and Republic. Just talking about how much better even the teams that kind of at the bottom, so to speak, of the COC. I mean, you're talking about a Branson team or a Willard team that both won 5 games this year. How does that prepare you as you're going? Obviously, it prepares you well because you got two COC teams playing in the semifinal. But talk about that
For sure.
conference and how the preparation is.
Yeah, there's, and especially I think this year more than, maybe in years past, there's not a bad team in the league. And, if you look at records and, I think maybe Neosho and Ozark, had the least amount of wins this year. But if you put them in a lot of conferences across the state, those teams would, have a much better record. And that's it's a grind throughout the season because week in and week out, I mean, you're constantly just trying to figure out a way to score one more point to win a football game. But then you get to districts and, our first district game where we got to play another opponent, we played Belton, and, it was kind of, nice to play someone that's not familiar with you. But, from a X and O standpoint and a physical, playing on the field standpoint, we felt really good going to the Belton game that we were going to be the more physical football team and we were the more tested football team. And that's what this conference does for you. But just a lot of great coaching staffs and a lot of great athletes in this conference. And, it's a grind. And I don't think, people, even maybe spectators in the conference, understand how much of a grind because they see these schools week in and week out. But it's a phenomenal conference, and it's such a grind throughout the season, and you just try to make it through healthy at the end, so you've got a chance. And I guess fortunately for us, we had a lot of injuries early in the year, but by the time we got to the end, we got some of those guys back, and we're pretty healthy right now.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Outside of 13 games in, you're going to have bumps and bruises just because it's football. But so you're relatively healthy now going into this Republic contest.
Yeah, we lost. We've got one injury right now in Brecken Gallardo, who was our leading rusher from last year. He tore his ACL against Republic week 3, and so he's been done for the year since then. But Amari Jackson, our other starting running back, he suffered a shoulder injury against Republic week 3, and he made it back week 11 for our Belton game. So we missed about 8 weeks in there with a shoulder injury. And I mean, he's played 3 games now. He's, I don't know, averaging a little over 11 yards a carry. He's played really well, and he's really, our offense has kind of really scored more points the last 3 weeks, and he's been a big reason why. Just getting him back on the field and his playmaking ability and the speed that he brings to the table. So it's nice to have him back. But yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of kids that have bumps and bruises and they're wore down and they're tired. But as far as an injury standpoint, besides Brecken, we're all relatively healthy.
And this is a Republic team that the Cardinals have met. This will be the 6th time that they've met over the past 3 years. And obviously, even this year, it's awful hard to beat a good team twice. But when you look at where you were on week 3 compared to where you are now, what are some things you feel like you're doing really well?
We week 3 we were playing 2 quarterbacks at that time, and we were rotating a senior quarterback and a sophomore quarterback, and the sophomore quarterback's kind of taken over our quarterback role, and he's really been our big play guy, probably all year long, but especially these last few weeks. And you can tell with him the game's slowing down for him a little bit, and he's able to make more plays, and he's processing information quicker, and he's really done a good job, and he's a special player for us. But I would say that's the biggest thing offensively between now and then is just, we've got more experience. We've started 6 different running backs this year due to injuries. We've got 5 of those guys healthy now. Our offensive line, we knew coming in the year, both our tight ends are seniors. We started 4 senior offensive linemen. So of our 7 guys up front, 6 of them are seniors that have played before. And we knew we were going to have to lean on them, and they've played well all year, but they seem to get better and better each week. So, just the experience factor and the fact that we are healthy is probably the biggest difference. And defensively, I feel like our defense has played well all year. And, that's, they gave up a lot of points the other night, but that was to a really good offensive team. But you take out the other night, the last few outings, they've played really well and held, Carthage at 7 points, and they shut out Branson the last regular season game. So a lot of good things going on. But the biggest thing is just they've grinded throughout the season. They've done everything we ask, as players, and they've gotten just a little bit better each week. And we keep telling them, if you just keep getting a little bit better, who knows what can happen. And we're in the semifinals, and we're excited about the chance to play.
And you've got Republic coming up, at 4:00 on Saturday when I check Scoreboard Guy or the Missouri Sports Network, and Webb City's won this game. What are some particular areas statistically that you're going to be able to point at and say this is why we won? Whether it's ball control, turnovers, penalties. What are you going to point at and say this is why we won this game?
Yeah, you're talking about a Republic team that's defensively playing really well right now, and offensively they've played well all year. And I think first down on both sides of the ball is going to be really important. And they've Republic's kind of gotten to a offensive philosophy where they kind of want to grind out first downs, and then they'll hit you with a big play. But so on first down, we can't let them get their 4, 5, 6 yards, and have 2nd and 4 is not a good place for us to be on defense. So we need to stop them on first down and keep them in a 2nd and long situation where maybe it's 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 10, and that's easier said than done. And then offensively, it's kind of the opposite. We've got to win first down, and we've got to be the team that gets the 2nd and 5 situation, so that we're not sitting there at 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, and behind the change, and then trying to come up with a big play to get a first down. And I think the game's gonna be really fast. I don't foresee a lot of passes being thrown, so every snap, every possession is gonna be very important in the outcome of the game. And so when we're on offense, we got to be able to score points, and defensively, we got to be able to come up with a stop. And everyone talks about the Republic and their onside kicks, and they recovered 2 against Elias on Saturday. And if you go back to the district semifinal game last year, they recovered 2 onside kicks against us that really turned the momentum in the game into their favor. And so besides first down, I would just say special teams, and we got to win the special teams battle if we want a chance to win on Saturday. And we can't let them have success with onside kicks and any other trickery they might try to use on special teams.
Coach, what are your plans between now and Saturday at 1:00? How many times are you going to be able to get them on the field? And I know you guys, Webb City's used to this. I mean, since 2010, you're 177-17 with 8 state titles. So you're used to practice. And what does it look like here going forward here until Saturday?
Luckily we're out of school all week this week, and so we didn't have to go to school. So we've been able to bring the boys in the morning. So we're going about 8 to 10:30 or 8 to 11, and tomorrow morning we'll bring them in at 8. We'll do a team stretch. We'll get them in the weight room for about an hour, and then we'll go out to the practice field and get in about an hour and 45-minute practice. And the key, I think, this time of year is try to make things as routine as possible, and not try to make anything too big of a deal or outside of the norm. And so we try to treat it like a regular game week, to the best of our ability, and we don't change a lot of things up at practice. And we've really stuck to the same routine throughout the season and throughout districts and into the playoffs last week. So that's just kind of our plan. And Thanksgiving morning we'll bring them in for about a 2-hour practice early in the morning, and then we'll let them leave about 10:30 on Thursday, and then Friday we're not bringing them back in until 3:00. So we want to give them a little over a day off right there, to where if they need to travel a little bit, they can, and they can kind of relax and enjoy Thanksgiving and time with their family. And bring them back Friday at 3, because that would be a normal practice time for us, and we'll have our team dinner Friday night. Then obviously we're not used to playing on Saturdays, but we've played on a handful of Saturdays in the past, so Saturday will be a little different. But we'll try to leave at similar times and arrive at similar times, so it's like a regular game. But I think the more normal you can make it, the easier it is for our players to adjust.
Outstanding. Well, you're listening to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network as we visit with Ryan McFarland, the head football coach at Webb City. And, Coach, it's Thanksgiving week. It's the holiday week, I should say, as the holiday season begins. And, looking forward to Thanksgiving as everyone does. What's kind of your go-to Thanksgiving dish, something maybe you're going to cut in line to make sure you get enough of?
I would probably have to say green bean casserole. My wife makes it, and it's one of my favorite things that she makes. So that's probably the thing that I'll cut in line for. But just there's nothing better than Thanksgiving Day turkey, especially leftover turkey. So I'm trying to make sure I get some extra turkey to take home with me at the end.
And I'm pretty sure that's the same exact answer that Coach Cornelson gave me from Republic earlier today was the green bean casserole. But Coach, what are some things right now the McFarland family has to be thankful for as we head into this time of Thanksgiving?
First I got a wife that, she lets me coach and spend a lot of time away from our family. So I'm appreciative, of that for her. And we've got 4 daughters, and our oldest is a 16-year-old that just started driving. And we've got a 5th grade daughter, a 3rd grade daughter, and we've got a 3-year-old daughter. So we have kids all over the place all the time. And I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful that they don't hold the time I spend away from them, against me, because they know that football is really important to our family. And I think they enjoy being the coach's daughters and coming to team meals and stuff with us. And and just thankful for, the position that I'm in, and the Webb City administration allowing me to have this opportunity to be the head coach of this football program. And the last thing is our faith is really important to us. And so, just all the things that God has provided us and done for us, and how he looks over us and keeps us safe. And, I have a lot to be thankful for, and just very appreciative of a lot of things.
Very good. Well, Coach McFarland, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here on the Missouri Sports Network. Good luck, safe travels, and stay healthy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
You bet. You're watching and listening to the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where, as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Brought to you by Liuna, Labor's Local 663, building Missouri, and reminding all of us, hey, drive safely in those work zones. Those folks want to go home to their families as well. Continuing here, we're talking state semifinal football action. We go to Seneca, Missouri, and bring in Seneca Indians head football coach Cody Hilburn. Coach, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
And I know we visited a little bit on Friday night following that win over Ava in the quarterfinal game, but you might kind of, for the listeners didn't get to hear that interview, a 56-8 win. Talk a little bit about that contest.
Yeah, I thought our team may have played one of our better football games of the season. Ava was a good football team, and I think we came out and due to the strength of our schedule, really prepared us for the physicality of that football game. And early on, we kind of traded blows. We went down and scored, and they actually went on a long drive and took the lead 8-6 at the end of the first quarter. So it wasn't just like a blowout from the get-go. I think our kids just were we have battled some adversity this year through playing some high-level competition, and I think as the game went on, that paid off for us.
When you talk about that level of competition, you playing in the Big 8, you've got there's 3 of you. At one point, there were 3 of you still alive there, actually 4 with McDonald County.
Yeah.
You got McDonald County, Nevada, Lamar, and yourself. You guys have all had tremendous seasons. That's a great way to prepare for a postseason run.
Yeah, without a doubt. And all 3 of those games for us were extremely tough games. And we came out on top of Lamar 28-14. We were behind at halftime against Mack County and came back and won that game. And we were actually behind 28-14 versus Nevada in the second half and came back and won that game. But the thing that sticks out in those 3 ball games was just physical football play. And all 3 of those teams are extremely physical. And I think that's what you want to see going into the playoffs.
How important is it to get this game at home? I mean, it's a St. Pius X team that I don't think Seneca's and St. Pius have ever matched up in their history, so they don't know a lot about the tradition there at Seneca. How important is it to have that game at home?
It's huge. Our community is second to none with their support. And if you would have looked at the crowd at Ava, a 2.5-hour trip, and it looked like the whole entire town was in Ava last Friday night. But at Seneca, we were out of practice earlier in the week. It was Monday, and people were already, trying to take down seats and move in their lawn chairs and things like that. And I just don't think that happens at very many places. But we played in the semifinal last year and had to go to Lamar. But this year, being able to get it at home is going to be pretty special.
Talk a little bit about what you know about St. Pius X. No like opponents on the schedule, obviously. At this point, they're 11-2 on the season, averaging about 50 points a game.
Yeah, very, very talented football team. That's what talking to my coaches. You look at their offense and their defense, and there just aren't any holes. There's no weaknesses to either side of the football, and that makes it challenging. You normally go into your game plan and try to find a weakness, and you're going to attack that. And there's just no weakness to find on either side of the ball. So we just have to be very, very sound, and going to have to play a really good football game. Good football game.
Is there a team on your schedule from this year that you can maybe compare them to for folks that maybe haven't seen them or not familiar with them, haven't seen them on film? Are they like anyone that you've played this season?
We've pulled pieces from certain teams. They base out of a 4-3 front, which is what we saw versus Lamar. They do a little bit more with it than Lamar does, but we can pull off that a little bit. They're very good at offensively, shifting you around with multiple formations, and we saw some of that versus Mount Vernon as well in the district championship game. So we're able to pull some things from various teams we've played, but it comes down to their offense is they want to establish their run game, their power run game, and their running backs, a kid that carried it 40 times in the district championship game. But then they have some special kids on the edge that if you load the box, they got some kids that can go get it.
Coach, I know it's we're 13 weeks into this season, and everybody's got bumps and bruises and twisted ankles and things of that nature. But outside of just the normal football injury type things, are you relatively healthy?
Yeah, we are, and you hit it on the head for week 14. Nobody's 100% this time of year, and we talk about that a lot. But no, we went through some rough patches earlier in the year, but for the most part, we have close to everybody back.
What now here during a holiday week, obviously with Thanksgiving in the middle of this week? Number one, it's always good to be eating turkey and still looking at game film at this time of the year. You're still alive, and that's wonderful. But what are your plans here as you go forward here the rest of the week until 1 o'clock on Saturday?
Yeah, well, we try to keep our routine as close to normal as possible. So we go in the afternoon today on Wednesday, and then we're going to have a morning practice on Thanksgiving, and that's such a special time to be able to practice on Thanksgiving. And so we'll bring our kids in the morning and then try to get them out of here by the afternoon so they can go spend some quality time with their family. And then we'll bring them back in Friday afternoon. So really when they get out of here, Thursday afternoon, if they have a Friday family event, they can go to hit, still make it back in time for Friday's kind of clean up, polish day, and then be ready to go Saturday morning.
Hey, Coach, it's Thanksgiving. What's kind of your go-to dish there on Thanksgiving? What are you cutting in line for? Make sure you get enough on your plate.
I tell you what, if you've seen me, there's not much that I don't like, but I'm down to the basics. Give me some turkey, and if I can get some chicken and noodles on top of that, I'm pretty set.
Outstanding. Again, visiting with Seneca Indian head football coach Cody Hilburn, and Coach, at this time of the year, it's often a time to kind of reflect. What are some things that the Hilburn family are thankful for?
And we have so much to be thankful for, and I got my wife and my 3 daughters, and all 5 of us are healthy and living really good lives, and I got all my wife's parents and my parents are here in Seneca and are all with us, and what that means for my kids to have 2 families and 2 sets of grandparents that are close by that are supportive of them. I can't say enough about that. And to me personally, I'm so thankful for my wife and girls that understand the hours that go into being a football coach, and they're so understanding of that, and they really allow me to do my job the correct way.
Outstanding. Kickoff at Seneca High School, 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and hey, good luck on Saturday, and go out and get a win. We'll get you back next week.
All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. where, as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and hey, be here for Christmas.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Continuing here with our Iona Laborers Local 663 Teams of the Week, we go to Republic High School, and we bring in head football coach Ryan Cornelson. Coach, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Coach, before we talk about the semifinal game coming up, kind of go back last Saturday and take us through that 28-21 victory over a very good Elias team, who I thought was maybe one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the state, no matter the class. What was that game like?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great football game. It was kind of the tale of two halves. First half, they came out right away and punched it right down our throat and put it in the end zone. And then we returned the kickoff 100 yards and scored, and then got the next 2 onsides, and went up 21-7. Ended up going into the half 28-14. Our special teams had a huge role, and our offense was playing well, and our defense was struggling. Our quarterback was cutting loose on us, and we couldn't seem to get them stopped. Then second half, our special teams didn't have much impact because we didn't score. Our offense, we stalled out most drives. We took the clock and had some good drives. We just didn't execute enough to put the ball in the end zone. But our defense played extremely well. And gave up 7 in the second half and held on for the final drive to keep them out of the end zone to go ahead and ensure the win. So it was a great effort by all. We played well at times with both and not so well at both, but we feel very blessed to still be playing and have the opportunity to play again this week.
Well, just back-to-back weekends with tremendous opponents and tremendous games, with the 35-32 win over Lebanon. Then you mentioned the Elias game, and now you get Webb City, who I believe this is in your third year. I believe it's the 6th time you faced them.
It is, and obviously, you know the history of Webb and how good they are, and they've really improved this year. I watched them. We got all their films. Of course, they have all ours, and you just see, man, what an improvement they've made on the year, and they're playing extremely high level of football right now. So. It's a tough matchup anytime you play them, whether it's regular season or postseason, and we've done it a lot. Haven't been real successful other than the one game. So, we got to try to figure out a way to play well enough to be in it.
And at this point of the season, I understand everybody's got bumps and bruises and maybe a twisted ankle here and there, but other than that, are you relatively healthy?
Yeah, I would say we're relatively. We lost some guys early that won't be back, and then this game against Elias is probably the most beat up we've been for a while. We just we had to play with extremely high motors and we're outsized drastically up front. And, I went in a half and I looked at us. It looked like we'd already played a full game. Like I could tell we went and it was exhausting, I guess, that first half. So we're relatively healthy. We've got to use this week to try to get some of that freshness back that we lost in playing 2 big games back to back.
And obviously, it's a big game. Number one, you get to play it at home, and that's got to mean something there to be at home against Webb. Webb's got 2 losses on the season, and both of them are on the road, and that's something that you guys can maybe take advantage of as well.
Yeah, it's always nice to play at home. We had Elias at home, and man, what an amazing crowd! It was a beautiful day, and man, we had our it was packed, and it was all orange and black, and they were loud, and it was just an awesome day for not only our football players, but just our community. It was a big day for the whole community, and our fans and family and the community came out, and it was really awesome to be a part of.
And talk a little bit about maybe the good, the bad, with regards to being so familiar. I mean, you guys are conference teams. You've seen each other, like we talked about, 6 times over the past couple of years. What's the good and bad of that, meeting them in a semifinal game?
It's tough. I mean, you try to go, well, how much do we look at when we played them versus the other teams they played, and so you have that when you're trying to put a game plan together. And you know what they're good at, and sometimes that's an advantage, but also sometimes it makes you overcoach and try to stop certain things too much just to and be weak somewhere else. So I'm not a big fan of playing people twice, but obviously since I've been here, we've had to do it a lot, and so where I'm getting a little more used to it and understanding how to game plan once on game 2 versus game 1. I only did that maybe once or twice in Kansas, so hopefully I'm getting better at it, and we'll have a good plan this week.
Couldn't have asked for better weather this past Saturday, and it looks like this Saturday it's going to be similar, maybe a little bit cooler, but that plays a big part in it too this late in the season.
Yeah, it's always nice to have good weather on game day, and it will be colder than it was. It couldn't have been more perfect Saturday. I mean, our kids were shedding clothes, and they cramped some. It was just it was warmer than what anybody expected, and so it was great, and hopefully it holds up this weekend.
Kickoff 1 p.m. there at 4370 South Retmo Drive there in Republic. Come 4 o'clock, when I check Scoreboard Guy or Missouri Sports Network and Republic has won this contest, what are one or two of the stats that you're going to be able to point to and say this is why we won this game? Maybe it's time possession or turnovers or what? What are something you're really keying in on?
I think two of those you just hit the nail on the head. The turnovers is got to be always a big key, and then time of possession. Both teams are capable of running the ball and taking the moving the chains and taking the clock, and so you definitely against a team like Webb, want to be ahead of the time of possession. So I think for both teams, those are two big keys to success.
Playing on a Saturday during a holiday week, what's your schedule like on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? Obviously, you don't have to get on the bus, and that's a good thing. But what's your schedule like between now and Saturday at 1 p.m.?
Yeah, so we'll practice. We still are in school today. We'll practice after school like normal. Then tomorrow we'll go at 1, just trying to simulate kickoff time, and then Thursday we'll go at 9 in the morning and invite friends and family if they're in town to come to practice and watch, and we'll have hot chocolate and everything for them to come out and watch us practice. Try to turn them loose as quick as we can to get them back to their families for Thanksgiving, and then Friday at 1 we'll practice again our pregame practice, and then be ready to roll for Saturday.
Have you had many reach out to you? I mean, little known fact, this is the first time you've reached the semifinals since 1986. And a little known fact is I was on the team that Republic beat that year in 1986 to get to that situation. But have you had some of those folks kind of maybe reaching out to you? Maybe you've still got some of them that are part of the program?
Yeah, we have some that are family and friends of players and are there, and I've met a few of them. And then last week I had a couple of them call and just encourage us, and I thought it was cool. I could tell our kids about the conversation, and just that those guys are rooting for them and proud of what they have done and know how much work it takes to get there because they've been there. And so that was a cool experience when some of those guys called and are taking interest in what we're doing.
And it's always tremendous to be able to share this over a holiday season with your friends, your family, and with Thanksgiving coming up. And hey, if you're still playing football when it's Thanksgiving, you're doing something right.
Right. There's no doubt. It's exciting. It's new for our kids, and just to see the look on their faces after each win these last 2 weeks is a special thing.
And before we let you go, Coach, do you have like a go-to Thanksgiving dish that you're going to cut in line? Hey, if it's on the table, I'm gonna go get this. What's your favorite?
Yeah, man, that's tough. I'd probably say the stuffing or green bean casserole. One of those two is probably my go-to. So I would say those are probably my favorites.
Outstanding. And Coach, at this time of the year, what does the Cornelson family have to be thankful for?
I think a lot of things, and I think God has really blessed us in many ways, and our health and being a part of this experience. And I have a daughter in high school, and my son's in junior high, and then my youngest is in kindergarten. But just the experience of them being along for the ride and being, my daughter's in the student section, my son's the ball boy, and then, having them there after the game is a special thing and something we feel very blessed to be a part of. And so a lot of things I could say, but definitely this experience together has been a lot of fun.
You bet. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here on the Missouri Sports Network, and congratulations on a semifinal berth. Now go out and get a victory, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, that'd be great. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Coach Ryan Cornelson from Republic Tigers as they prepare to take on Webb City at home on Saturday at 1 p.m. We'll be back after this.